你们什么安静，我什么时候讲课啊？你们真是我带过最差的一届班。
For many immigrant students, message is exciting at the same time.
At school, students are encouraged to be confident, expressive, and outspoken.
Immigrant students are asked the same questions. Where do I really belong? We are not trying to label any culture as simply good or bad. This podcast is trying to see real people, real pressure, and real identity. One of the first cultural confidence many immigrant students experience is the definition of a site. For many immigrant families, education confers opportunity, stability, and the future.
Many parents immigrated to the United States hoping their children could have opportunities they never had. So for them, grades, college, and a stable job are not just expectations. They are a form of security.
What do you think your parents expect most from you?
I think the biggest expectation is still success, but their definition of success is usually connected to stability, things like grades, college, and having a secure job. My parents are immigrants, and when they first came to the United States, life was very difficult for them. Their English wasn't very strong. They worked a lot of exhausting jobs because of that. They always tell me education is important because they see it as the safest path. Sometimes, the pressure feels overwhelming because it's not just about getting good grades. It feels like if I'm failed, I'm always failing the sacrifices they made to come here, especially when I see how hard they work every day. I feel this constant pressure to succeed.
Alright, thanks. Actually, for many immigrant students, academic success is entitled not only themselves but also to their family securities. Do you think that education is so important, and why?
Education is necessary for kids because education gives children more choices. Many immigrant parents work difficult jobs, so they want their children to have a more stable future.
While at the same time, American schools often value something very different. Things like participation, confidence, and leadership.
Exactly. A lot of immigrant students are constantly overthinking. Things like, should I raise my hand? Will this sound weird? Will people think I'm too quiet?
Do you feel different expectations at school and home?
Yeah, and honestly, I think the difference is pretty big. At school, teachers encourage students to speak up and share opinions. If you stay quiet, people sometimes assume you lack confidence or participation. But at home, I was raised to be more humble and not draw too much attention to myself. So growing up, I often felt conflicted. Even when I had something to say in class, I would hesitate because I was afraid of saying the wrong thing or standing out too much. I think a lot of immigrant students experience this cultural conflict.
That's right. I think a lot of immigrant students grow up feeling like failure is not really an option.
Yeah, and sometimes the pressure isn't just about God themselves. It comes from feeling that your parents already sacrificed so much for you.
I think many people outside immigrant families don't fully understand that feeling. Because it's not just I need good grades. Instead, it feels like your future is carrying family's expectations too.
Actually, I think belonging is one of the biggest parts of the imagined experience.
Yeah, and often that feeling of not belonging isn't always a real discrimination. It's more like a subtle feeling that builds up over time. Like when people talk about childhood cartoons, American pop culture, or slang, you suddenly realize, wow, our backgrounds are actually really different.
And lots of immigrant students start code switch. That means choosing one way at school and another way at home. After a while, you sometimes don't even know which versions feel most real.
Also, for many immigrant students, social interaction can feel like another form of translation, not just translating language, but translating culture, humor, and how to interact with others.
Have you ever felt different because of your cultural background?
Especially when I first came to US, some people would use slangs, jokes, or pop culture reference that I completely understand. But I was too embarrassed to constantly ask what thing meant. I remember one time during lunch everyone was laughing at a joke, and I had no idea what was happening, but I still pretended to laugh so I wouldn't seem awkward.
Often other people only see you are quiet, but they do not see how hard you are trying the damp.
Do you feel caught between two countries? Yeah, and honestly, it's a really difficult feeling to explain. Sometimes at home, I get told that I am too American because of the way I talk, think, or behave. But at school, people still see me as Asian or not fully American. So sometimes it feels like I don't completely belong anywhere. I think a lot of immigrant students are constantly switching between different versions of themselves, depending on the environment, like acting more outgoing at school, then becoming quicker at home. After a while, you sometimes start wondering which version is actually the real you. That's right. When someone living between two cultures for a long time, belong becomes complicated.
For family, I think a lot of people misunderstand Asian families as simply being strict. But often, behind strictness is anxiety and a desire to protect their children.
Where it integrates family because they experienced instability themselves. They are often afraid their children will struggle in the future.
Actually, I don't think many Asian families lack love. They simply express it differently. Things like cooking for you, reminding you to wear a jacket, or asking if you have eaten.
You know, when I was younger, those things can feel innocent, but as I grew older, I started understanding them differently.
How does your family usually express care?
I think my family doesn't express emotion very discreetly. We rarely say I love you, and we don't really talk openly about feelings, but they show care through actions. My mom asks me every day if I have ate and something she killed fruit for me later at night while I studied. My dad doesn't talk too much, but he remembered my exam, school duty, and quarterly leavings work earlier to pick me up. When I was younger, I used to wonder why my family couldn't be more openly emotional like some American family, but as I got older, I realized they are questions simply expensive love differently for them. Love looks more like care, responsibility, and skillfulness.
Yeah, for many families, love is personal sacrifice. Do you talk about stress or mental health with your family?
Not really. I know they care, but their generation just isn't used to talking about those things. Most of the time I deal with it myself because I don't know how to bring it out, and I also don't want to worry them. Sometimes when my grades are bad or I feel really down, I just keep it to self. But honestly, that gets exhausting too.
One of the most common stereotypes about Asian students in the modernity that stereotypes.
These labels may sound positive, but it also causes people to ignore real struggles, like emotional pressure, identity struggles, and loneliness.
Also makes people think, aren't you all doing fine already? But reality, many immigrant students are silently carrying a lot of pressure.
What do you think people misunderstand most about immigrant students?
I think a lot of people assume that because Asian students get good grades, their life must be fine too. But people often don't see the person behind that. Sometimes people say things like, "Your grades are so good, what do you even have to stress about?" But a lot of the stress actually comes from their expectations. The stereotype also makes people outgrow your emotions. People assume you are hardworking, stable, and never struggling. But immigrant students experience loneliness, identity confusion, social pursuit, and uncertainty, also the future too. Those experiences just often go unseen.
Sergius reduced campus people to make these comparisons feel human again.
Throughout these interviews, we heard stories about pressure, belonging, identity, and family. And we also heard stories about growth, understanding, and adaptation.
Many immigrant students spend every day translating language, emotions, expectations, and identity, but they are more than the stereotype of the Asian students.
Yeah, I agree. They are real people just like everyone else.
Maybe identify is not about choose one word over another. It is about learning how to find your own place between words.
That's all for today. Thank you for listening. See you next time.